Okay, so I just made her watch
Something.
Captain America:
long.
Civil War.
That's the one.
And she liked Winter Soldier. I made her watch Winter Soldier earlier this week.
You
that, like that one?
Wasn't this week?
Yeah, it was.
Oh, it was quite a while ago.
No, it wasn't. That's the one with Bucky's got the one arm.
Oh, okay, that one.
Yeah, Winter Soldier.
Okay.
She liked Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
But this is where the character overload starts, is with Civil War.
Ridiculous.
And I get it. Like, I enjoy it personally. I really enjoy Civil War. Anybody who watched my top 100 movies knows that Civil War was in the top 30. But I would think for her it wouldn't be in the top 100.
No. Nope, I didn't like that movie.
So tonight...
That was ridiculous.
Tonight, instead of taking her to Deadpool 2, which we will see, we're going to go and see Solo instead, because I know she's kind of Avengered out. And the other reason that I wanted her to see the Captain America movies is because I knew the characters piled up, and I wanted to make sure that she'd be okay with seeing Avengers, and she knew what she was getting herself into, which is those characters and a bunch more characters.
Stupid.
And a bigger bad guy who's purple. And, yeah.
Is he like the one-eyed, one-horned, flying purple people eater?
No, he's Thanos.
Oh, okay.
And, yeah. So, what... The funny thing is, the movie that she liked that we've watched in the last 24 hours, and I wanted to talk about, is Friday the 13th Part 3. Starring the gorgeous and wonderful Dana Kimmel.
That I liked. Well, you mean in comparison to that?
Yeah.
Well, I suppose in that case.
It
was great.
Friday the 13th Part 3 is quaint and fun, and it takes a long time with the preamble, by which I mean about the first 5 to 10 minutes are spent showing us what happened at the end of Part 2. Then they put in the funky disco music that's completely out of place with the rest of the movie. And then they show us this older couple, middle-aged couple, arguing and fighting at a store, and then they die. And then the movie starts, and you're about a half an hour in, and then that's... And everything. It was supposed to be in 3D. I didn't make her watch the 3D version because it would have made her sick.
I can't watch old 3D.
The red and blue.
So, yeah.
Red and blue, she can't watch it.
My eyes don't like that much, so...
Interesting note with my kids, when they got old enough to watch horror movies, I thought for the first R-rated horror movie I would let them watch Friday the 13th Part 3. But showing what a good dad I was, I made them watch the 3D version. So their eyes got really sore halfway through the movie. My daughter felt kind of sick. And that ended that. So I was like, alright, well, there's some blood and some boobs in this, so I'm just going to go ahead and let you guys watch it in 3D. That way I don't have to worry about nightmares tonight. So that way I made sure that they weren't geared towards having nightmares with horror movies, and then I allowed them watch other horror movies. But I was really careful about what to show them. Because if you think about it, Friday the 13th Part 3 really isn't that gory.
No, it's really not. There are a couple parts that I turned away at.
Well, like when he shoots the harpoon, you can see the harpoons traveling down a line.
I didn't like... Well, I don't know. I kind of looked away at that one.
You can see it's traveling down a wire. You can tell.
There were some other parts that were just kind of silly. That one I turned away at.
I think the one thing that I don't notice when I'm a kid watching these, and when I notice it now as an adult, is that's not a kill shot. There are numerous times...
There were a few that you were like, wait, what?
There are numerous times Jason kills somebody and you're thinking, well, they're not dead. They're hurt. They're mortally wounded. They're going to die. They're not dead. And it's just, I stab you in the gut, and then you fall down and you're dead, and I walk away. That's not really quite how that works. Yeah. So I'm not in favor of torture porn at all, because I think those movies are gross. But at the same time, there are some kills in Friday the 13th that wouldn't be kills.
No. Agreed.
And then the laws of physics don't apply. Sort of like what Spider-Man said to Captain America about his shield, that it doesn't obey the laws of physics. Which is true, because sometimes it's a boomerang and sometimes it isn't.
Right.
It's like it telekinetically knows that it should go back to Captain America.
He throws it in a special way.
So, Captain America on a scale of 1 to 10.
I really didn't like that movie. By the end, I was done watching it, so I didn't really watch the end a whole lot, because I didn't care at that point, so maybe a 4.
See, for me, it's a much higher score, and I'm kind of excited about Avengers, which I haven't seen yet, and I don't know if that's a movie we're gonna watch together.
Yeah,
I kind of have my doubts.
Weren't saying anything that made me all excited to watch that.
Because I pointed out all of the villains and heroes,
and it's really long. That one felt super long already.
Well, that one was 2 hours and 49 minutes.
Yeah, it felt like it.
And I wanted to see, or no, 2 hours and 29 minutes, and this one's supposed to be about 2 hours and 40.
It felt
the
really
new
long.
Avengers.
There's a lot of characters.
It is.
Maybe if you know who they all are in the first place.
But
are you supposed to know who they all are?
Black Panther, they don't introduce until this movie.
So I knew who
Spider-Man,
Black Panther was.
they don't introduce until this movie.
But it's Spider-Man, so you know who Spider-Man is. I knew who Iron Man was.
And Captain America.
And Captain America.
And Black Widow. From the last movie.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's still
Black
Scarlett
Widow,
Johansson.
Yeah.
And
I think that's it.
Yeah, probably.
I don't know who all those other people were. And so you don't know what their stories are or why they're fighting, or I don't know.
Did you want to watch The Avengers, the first one again?
I don't.
See, when we met, you told me you'd seen Avengers, and then now you're not sure if you've seen it.
Yeah, I don't.
But see, it's sort of like that one, so it may not stick with you because you're sort of
Right.
like, yeah, it's just too much to remember.
I do forget movies
So
if I don't care.
Your brain kicks it out because it's not related.
I'm really good at forgetting a movie.
If it's not related to Maynard or something she really loves, her brain will just kick it out.
I totally forget it.
I don't know what that is.
I know
There
Shannon remembers.
There
everything.
are movies that I watch and I put on for her and she's like, yeah, I've never seen that. And then halfway through she goes, you know what? I think maybe I have seen this. And then by then she's like, yeah, I watched that once. But she'd forgot all about it because her brain kind of kicks it out.
I do.
So.
Yep, that's exactly how it works.
Like, for instance, last night when I went to put in Friday the 13th, she had to be reminded which killer that was. And when I said it's Jason, I had to be more specific.
Yes.
I couldn't have even said the one with the mask because that really isn't more specific.
No.
Because you got Michael Myers in Halloween.
Yeah, most of them have
And
masks.
Jason, well, Leatherface, but I've never made you watch Texas Chainsaw
Massacre. See,
Massacre.
I just have trouble remembering those two.
And then Scream.
I know that one.
Okay.
I know which one that one is.
See, I think you'd like the Scream series. The Scream series is kind of fun.
I think I've watched 2 of them.
Yeah, but there's an actual TV series that they made about Scream.
You told me about that.
That I think you'd enjoy.
I don't know.
So.
I watched the first 2 movies. I saw the first one in the theater.
Yes, I did too. A friend of mine, he went to see it, and then he came and got me and told me I had to go see it in the theater. So, since I had done that with a friend of mine for Braveheart, I knew that if a friend of mine came and said, you need to see this, they were right. Because, yeah. And Titanic was one I made people watch, too. They're like, I don't know if I want to see that. Well, I'm paying for your ticket, so you're going. I don't know, I'll buy you popcorn, too. Let's go. Well, can I get pop? Yeah, I'll buy you pop. We'll go. And these were guys. It's not like I was trying to ask girls out. I should have probably been doing that. If I'd been more assertive. Just, hey.
Women, yeah.
You seen Titanic? You want to go see it? Hey? Huh? Hey, little boat action? Huh?
That sounds creepy.
Worked with guys.
Guys are a lot easier.
Is that a literal sense or figurative sense?
Yes.
Okay. There you go. So, Friday the 13th on a scale of 1 to 10.
I think that goes to 6, like all the others. Aren't they? All the other 6s? Something around there. Sounds pretty fitting.
She gives Friday the 13th Part 3 a higher grade than Captain America
I didn't like
Civil War.
You can't... I couldn't follow it.
But Winter Soldier. Winter Soldier you liked, though. Winter Soldier you liked.
Yeah, that one wasn't too bad. I liked the first one better.
Where it's just him in the 1940s. Yes.
Yeah, I liked that.
And I knew she'd like that one.
Yes. This one, I didn't... There's too many characters and I couldn't follow even the storyline.
The funny thing to me
there were
with...
too many little storylines and I couldn't figure out how they all were supposed to fit together.
The funny thing for me with Civil War, and again, it's one of my favorite movies, but this does kind of stick with me. It's not a Captain America movie.
No,
it's an Avengers movie.
It's not Captain America.
He's not even in a lot of it.
He's not even the main character.
They don't really develop his character at all.
It seems more of an Iron Man movie than
Eventually,
Captain America.
Once Tony Stark's in it, he kind of dominates the flick.
Yes.
He does kind of dominate it. And then they have that side of Tony Stark and Spider-Man, which has nothing to do with Captain America.
Right. And
they have the whole Black Panther thing. Captain America doesn't have a whole lot of impact on those scenes either. He's sort of just there for a lot of the movie. He's kind of a passenger. Yeah. And he screws up a lot.
Yeah. So that was difficult to follow and didn't make a whole lot of sense. And I didn't know all the people. Didn't know what their deal was. See, it was weird.
And the funny thing is, like, if I'd put on Age of Ultron, she still would have been stuck with those questions of not knowing, like...
There was a whole thing with that witch girl and the robot man.
Vision. She's talking about Vision. And Scarlet Witch... They were
a whole thing, but you don't know who they are.
But Scarlet Witch, they don't really give much backstory on when she's introduced in Age of Ultron. And her twin brother, Quicksilver, they don't even keep him around. He dies in the movie.
But see, I would have known who that is. I know who Quicksilver is.
He runs really fast.
I know who it is.
So, he's in X-Men.
That's probably why I know who he is.
He's in X-Men First Class, where they're all young in the 60s.
Yeah.
So...
That's probably why I know who that is.
But what throws people off is because X-Men is owned by Fox, and Marvel has their own movies through Disney, right? It's a different actor playing Quicksilver, and they can't call him Quicksilver. They give him a different name. So the only way you know he's Quicksilver is because he can run so fast that he has bullet time for his scenes.
Okay.
So you're like, oh, that's Quicksilver. Oh, all right. He's completely different than in the X-Men movies.
Oh.
Which is another problem, that half of the properties seem to belong to Fox and the other half belong to Marvel. But that's not
unusual to have a different actor playing superheroes. I mean, Spider-Man's
it feels
played
dumb.
By how many
It feels
people?
like it would be like having Star Wars. Half of the characters belong to one company and half of the characters belong to the other. So you can't really make a full Star Wars movie. You have Han Solo on one side and Luke on the other. And they never really meet, but they're in the same universe, but it's really awkward. Like, it's
not quite the same.
It's very similar.
Because Star Wars was made, they were all together in the first place. These superhero movies, they weren't first made with them all together. They're made more first individual stories, and now they're putting them all together.
But Avengers existed before the movies did, in comic form. So Wolverine is an Avenger, and yet he's not an Avenger in the Avengers because Wolverine belongs to Fox and Avengers belongs to Marvel, which belongs to Disney.
All right.
Do you have a headache yet?
I don't really care. So.
This is why I wasn't taking her to Deadpool, because I didn't want to risk her saying I am so superheroed out and just zoning out halfway through.
My kind of movie.
Just zoning out halfway through.
The first Deadpool's funny though, but the superheroes. I mean, some of the superhero movies are fun.
Deadpool is amazing.
But
Deadpool is amazing. He is.
This one, there was just so much fighting. It was like, didn't they just stop fighting? They're fighting again. Who are they fighting with now? Why are they fighting? I couldn't figure that part out.
And it's the slow turn of Captain America and Iron Man against one another. And because they start off kind of aggravated because Tony almost destroyed the world in Age of Ultron. Whatever, no big problem. Tony doesn't seem overly upset about it. He's upset because some kid died when a building fell on him. Has nothing to do with him being upset over the fact that he almost destroyed the world in Age of Ultron. He's worried about this kid that some woman ran. Oh, look, here's a picture of my dead kid. I'm upset now. Weren't you upset when you created a sentient being that almost destroyed the entire universe? No, that's not a problem? All right, whatever. Anyhow. Yeah, so the slow turn in the movie of Tony Stark against Steve Rogers, I think is fun. And part of the reason that I like the movie is because at the end, it's just Tony and Steve fighting. Bucky's been eliminated. The rest of the Avengers have been knocked out of it. It's just Tony and Steve. It comes down to them. So that's the part that I like. A lot. And yet, They almost muted at the end when Steve's like, "I'll be there if you ever need to call me, Tony." And it's like, really? Because you kind of had this tension, and then you're just going to kill it? Okay, you're just going to kill it. I think if at the end of the Captain America movie, they had just had Captain America breaking his allies out of prison, and Tony not knowing anything about it, I think he would have created more tension before the Avengers. But it's this highly tangled universe. Sometimes I think it's too tangled. Because you look at some of the stuff that goes on, like for instance in Winter Soldier, right? They got these giant helijets that are going to destroy the world. Why isn't Iron Man there? I mean, he's getting it too. Shouldn't all of the Avengers have been assembled, or they're just like, Cap's got this. It's not really our problem. It's just the Earth. That's the problem. That's the only problem I have with the standalone movies. Is usually you'll still have a villain that's ready to destroy the Earth, and the rest of the Avengers just kind of sit it out. They're like, well, we could step in.
When
but
I see the standalone movies, I don't even think about the other characters that aren't in the movie.
I do, because they name drop them.
World.
They name drop them. See, in Jessica Jones, it's okay, because Jessica Jones is just fighting, in season 1, she's fighting Kilgrave. It just affects her and people directly around her. It doesn't affect, so the Avengers, that wouldn't be on their radar at all. That's totally not a big deal to them on the planetary scale. And she gets all the crap because she's a metahuman, and they don't like metahumans. So,
all right.
I'm using the DC term. I guess mutants is the right one. They can't use mutants in these movies. You'll notice they don't talk about mutants. They talk about enhanced humans. Because mutants, that term, belongs to Fox.
But that's a word that people use.
They're not allowed to use mutants.
That's really weird.
Yeah. And that's the biggest problem.
That doesn't make any sense.
But they talk about enhanced humans. Yeah, but mutant is under X-Men, which is off on the Fox side of things. And Fox will keep making crappy X-Men movies so they can keep the rights. That's why Friday the 13th is stuck in development hell. Because the rights are being fought over between two different companies, who neither of which are going to make a good Friday the 13th anyway, so just let it go. Hey, I did a crossover between the two things we're talking about. That's fun. I didn't even mean to do that. Yes, I did. It was totally intentional. The two universes that just one that should be melded and one that's just frozen. The Jason universe. Make Jason one of the Marvel superheroes. That'd be awesome.
His superpower is that
he doesn't die. Yeah. But every 5 minutes, he's down for like an hour.
Right.
So he gets up, and then Iron Man shoots him again, and he's down for another hour. I think that would be fun. So make it happen. Come on, Marvel. To pick up Jason. Get some Friday the 13th. I mean, Legion of Doom belongs to DC, so they can come up with some kind of a Legion of Undead or Legion of Machete or something.
Rebar.
Legion of Rebar. Make it happen. All right. So you're giving Civil War a 4.
Yeah.
For me, it's a 9.5. That movie is just fantastic.
No.
Although there's no character development in this movie of Natasha or of Steve. Bucky gets some because he recalls memories with Steve of his mother. And yeah. And then, so Winter Soldier, what would you give that on a scale of 1 to 10?
See, that one's starting to disappear from my memory.
This is what happens.
It's true.
Watch your brain, kids, because this is what happens.
But see if it's other stuff. I remember some things really well. I do.
I'm sure when we go to Les Mis, she'll remember every word of every song.
Yes. Oh, I can remember words to songs, no problem, even if it's crappy music that you make me listen to once and it'll get stuck in my head a week later.
What, like Dirt?
Was that crappy one?
Yeah, Emma.
Yeah, that one got stuck in my head a week later after hearing it one time. I can remember songs. Movies that I don't care about? Nope.
I think it was her dance. I think the dance is what did it.
So horrible. It was so awful.
No.
Yeah, and then the...
No, you gotta have your hands on your hips and then just kind of walk backwards like a zombie. It was like a half thriller.
She had a few.
It was like a half thriller without the actual rhythm.
Yeah.
It's like
Oh,
if Michael
so
Jackson was on
stupid.
Quaaludes and didn't have rhythm that day, that's how Thriller would have ended up.
So stupid.
So, man, somebody
awful.
needs to make that movie. Michael Jackson on Quaaludes. Yeah, no, that needs to happen. Hey, that could be another superhero for Marvel.
Adelaide's got my random remembering music really well too.
Yes, she does.
It's kind of funny.
She does. But
That's crazy.
Winter Soldier,
Winter Soldier.
which was the
Yeah.
one where Steve's got the girl living across the hall that's spying on him,
Yep, I remember that
and Nick Fury gets shot,
part. Who?
then hides in his apartment. Samuel L. Jackson.
Yeah.
Samuel L.
Oh
Jackson.
yeah, I remember. Okay, I
And
remember the
Robert
movie now.
Redford. Robert Redford.
Oh yeah, he looked really old.
And Hydra is in control of things at S.H.I.E.L.D. They fight on the elevator.
Oh yes.
Hail Hydra.
That was creepy. All the tons and tons.
The
of
fight on the elevator
There's
is
tons of
amazing.
people in the
And that's
elevator.
the thing. The fight
And
the
then
fight
he
on the
gets out,
elevator.
opens the elevator and there's more guys. And I said, well, did they have guys ready on every floor?
And
Because
I think one of the best lines in that is, so before we start.
Yeah.
Does anybody has any second thoughts?
That one had a
Get
couple
off
weird
now.
things. Yeah, the guys standing at the door.
But
How they know what?
that's the thing, is that there's the fight for me in Winter Soldier, and I might be changing my mind on these movies a bit rewatching them. The fight in Winter Soldier in that enclosed space in that elevator, you feel like Steve's in more danger than he is at any point in
And they have
Civil
those
War.
weird magnetic cuffs.
Those were fun, and you never see
They're
them
like
again.
Super
You
electromagnetic.
never see them again. But that was fun. I really enjoyed that. So, what would you
That-
give that on a 1 to
That
10?
one was a lot better. Probably a 7. Cause
So
it was,
that one-
It was,
That one you're saying's better
watchable.
than Friday the 13th Part 3.
well, yeah.
Even though
Most
Chris
movies are better than that.
even
I
though
know
Chris
there
has
were
that
some
great
boobs,
scene where she gets upset because Jason tried to rape her or something.
That was confusing. There was some weird that I was like, wait, what?
Hey, so Jason
So where are they taking those the jerry cans? 'Cause
3 of
weren't
them.
their motorcycles? Didn't they? At least one of them broke, right? Because he ran over the tire.
Yeah, but if you watch the tire's fine.
Right,
Yeah,
because
it's
he
fine.
had a tiny car and ran over the tire.
Yeah.
But they have the huge jerry cans and they're going to siphon out all the gas and take it. Where?
Sell it back
And
to the
what?
gas station.
Oh no, your battery died because you left the lights on forever? Oh, who would have ever guessed
He leaves
that's
the
gonna
lights on.
happen?
Leaves the lights on for his Volkswagen Bug, and then the light goes on. Stupid battery!
That's what happens.
Don't leave the lights on and turn your car off, you idiot! But
That's how it works.
and
Especially
I'd
old
never
cars
noticed
like
until
that.
I'm watching with her with Friday the 13th Part 3 that Rick looks to be mildly older than Chris.
Mildly.
A little bit older than Chris.
Like twice as old.
I think I was so starstruck with Dana Kimmel being so beautiful and such a damsel in distress that I didn't see what Rick looked like. Or
Yeah, there were some weird parts. And
I'm not saying she was a
Who's
great
that?
actress in
Oh,
this.
Let me go upstairs and find out who it is. What? A bunch of people died? Let's go out into the middle of nowhere.
And then the thing that gets me is, if you watch Friday the 13th movies, go back and watch them again and realize what a neat freak Jason is. Because Jason will kill somebody, there'll be a pool of blood. Somebody will walk through that room 5 minutes later, there's not a speck of blood anywhere. I want the movie about Jason with those gloves on his hands. I want him with rubber gloves and a sponge down there on the floor trying to get
Maybe
the
he
blood
has
out.
a really quiet shop vac.
That would be even better if he had like a mini shop vac on his
That
back.
would make a lot more sense.
If he had the machete and the shop vac, and then
Yep.
it'd be really embarrassing when you accidentally get him mixed up. So he tries to kill somebody with a shop vac. There's your Friday the 13th sequel. There you go. I just wrote it for you. I think I need to make a Friday the 13th
And then
movie.
she got out of the shower and she left the shower on and the curtain open. Who does that? That's just wasting a lot of water.
I've wanted to make a Friday the 13th
It's
movie
wasting
for
our
decades.
natural resources.
So what I need to do is I need to go to Paramount and go to whoever else is fighting over the rights and say, look, let me make a Friday the 13th movie. I will bring it to you. It will be beautiful, and you will never want to make a Friday the 13th again. I will make all of them. And I'll do hockey videos in between. So while I'm on the set, I'll have Jason Voorhees behind me while I talk about the latest in hockey. And he can just be hacking up teenagers while I'm talking. It'll be great. But since it's violence and there's no boobs, I don't think it'll get censored by YouTube.
Right, yes.
Yeah.
As long as you don't have nipples.
Nipples are very offensive. They're not allowed. They're
It's true.
They're nasty.
Dangerous. They can bring down
yeah.
whole
You can put an eye out with
societies.
that. So many eyes have been poked out with nipples. So
It's true.
you really got to watch what you
dangerous.
post online. Make sure it's violence. If it's a nipple, it's got to go on like the porno sites because that's where all the sickos hang out.
Right.
People who have body parts.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're offensive.
Yes. So there you go. There's our reviews and our meanders. Thank you so much for watching. Hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through and wondering what the hell's going on. And we'll talk to you again soon.
True.